this is my third Next. I remember 2 years ago pretty vividly. There was about 2,000 people at it, which we thought was really, really cool. 25,000 people registered this year is a lot cooler. Last year was 10,000. In fact, last year felt for the, who was here last year? Yeah, quite a few. I actually feel this year feels a lot more calm. Even though it's 2.5 times bigger, it seems calmer, but maybe that's just me. So my name's Damien. I'm a managing director in Google Cloud. I've been almost 11 years in Google and have a background in, I ran our publishers business in Europe for 2 years, and then our DoubleClick business in Europe for 6, and I moved over to cloud about 2.5 years ago. And I think, well, we're here to talk about how can Google Cloud help enterprises get smarter with marketing and customer data. And you would have heard in the keynote, those of you who saw the keynote earlier with Sundar, him talking about our timeless mission. I still think the Google mission is pretty cool. You know, taking the world's data and making it universally accessible and useful. And I thought then Diane's riff on that was pretty interesting. Google Cloud Platform's mission is then to supercharge our customers' information. So that means our mission is to supercharge your information. And my team's job is to help you get the most value from your marketing and customer data so that you can build better products, better customer experiences, and more efficient and effective marketing campaigns. So that's what we're looking at. But let me tell you a little bit about what it took to get us here. So about 2.5 years ago, I was looking for a new adventure. I'd been 6 years working in DoubleClick, which was a fantastic trip through our growth in programmatic advertising. And actually, I came across the cloud with no intention of working in the advertising and marketing space at all. In fact, at Next 2 years ago, I did a session pretty similar to this, and people were like, why are you talking about marketing when you're in infrastructure cloud? So, but what had attracted me to cloud was the potential for transformation. We've all seen some very interesting transformations, especially in the marketing space. One of the biggest being, obviously, the move from consumers from desktop to mobile. And obviously, these things here have changed all of our lives, and they've also changed the ways that brands and companies interact with their consumers. Another major change within advertising was the move from buying on networks to programmatic advertising and using data to buy advertising in real time. I looked around Google and thought, wow, cloud is an opportunity to go after that the IT industry is valued at anything between $500 billion and $1 trillion on an annual basis. That looked like a pretty interesting transformation to go and look after. But what changed my mind about marketing and advertising being a potential really big deal for Google Cloud was a conversation I had with a bank executive at a lunch, and out of politeness, I asked him, well, I kind of ran out of things to say, and said, can you tell me how much of your customer data do you use in your advertising? And he said, none. I can't join the data sets, which was pretty amazing, as this is one of the top 10 banks in the world. So that got me thinking, maybe there's actually a really big opportunity here. Before I go any further, though, I'd just like to check who do we actually have in the audience. So who here actually works in a marketing department? OK, quite a lot. Who here works in an analytics group team? Oh, even bigger group. Who here works in a technology team that supports either a marketing or an analytics team? OK, that's another. Who here works in an agency? OK, or a partner, service partner or a technology partner? That's cool. Who here thinks they're in the wrong session? Because some people didn't put their hands up. Anyway, for that last group, I hope that it's an entertaining show. So back to my story. This conversation with the bank executive had piqued my curiosity. So I actually went with a couple of my product colleagues, and we interviewed like well over 100 CMOs and CEOs of some of the largest companies in the world. And we asked them the same question each time: how satisfied are you with the value that you are getting from your marketing and your customer data? And we have an almost perfect record of them being very dissatisfied with the amount of value that they're able to create, because this is super, super valuable information that you all have, first-party data on your customers, and the ability to use that to create awesome products, excellent customer service, and And great customer experiences and engagements should be something that we all aspire to, but it's very, very difficult to do. I have to pause and say, I say it was 100%. There was actually one CMO who, at a very similar event to this, said, no, I'm actually perfectly happy with the amount of value that I get out of my customer data. So I thought, OK, well, there's one. But she came back to me later and said, actually, I only said that because I was in front of my team. In fact, I'm very unhappy with how much value I can get out. So it remains 100% to date. What I also have the hypothesis of is like Google Cloud is the externalization of the technology infrastructure that we built to support Google Search and Google Advertising. And so the hypothesis was, well, have we actually created a technology infrastructure that is potentially super optimized to solve marketing use cases and to support marketing technology? And then rather than just going and telling people that was the case, we actually started to look at what had people built and what were people doing on Google Cloud, and did this bear up? Were people seeing superior performance on Google Cloud for these marketing technology and marketing use cases? But in all of those 100+ conversations, the main question was, how do you help me to get more value out of my customer data? And that particular problem, as you all know, is only getting more difficult because of the increasing number of touch points that you all have with your customers and with your consumers. Think of all the different touch points you have. You have your website, your app store, your physical store, your customer service, your loyalty program, your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, email lists, and more and more and more and more. And all of these are generating really, really, really valuable information that you could use to create these great customer experiences. And then there's all of the advertising data that you're getting from your interactions with people as well. But how do you actually begin to use this data to have more of a conversation with your customers and your consumers, rather than it just sitting in disparate sets? And this is actually what we found to be the case in a very large number of companies. So they have the data, they know the data is very, very valuable, but it's sitting in different data silos, scattered all over the place, and very difficult to get a complete view of customers. And of course, what that means is that you could be running a really, really excellent email campaign, but you're not attaching it in any way to your paid search campaign, or you're not being able to drive what that means for your outdoor advertising or for your television advertising. And that can be both frustrating and expensive. So this is one of the things Google likes looking at, is universal challenges that every company has. And through our research, we found that every company does have this. And see, even the companies that are best in the world at this believe they can do it better. So that's very interesting. I thought I'd throw in a statistic to show it's not just us throwing data around. So Forbes did a study and identified that only 13% of organizations say they're making the most of their valuable data, which is 13% more organizations than I found were happy, which is pretty interesting. I'd love to meet them. Like if you think of that statement, 13%, 1 in 6, approximately, 1 in 7, say they're making the most of their available customer data. We've talked to some of the most sophisticated companies in the world, including ourselves, Google. We're absolutely not happy with the way that we market some of our new products and what we'd love to be able to do to give people like even better experiences. So it's a great stat, but I think the answer is probably, I believe the answer is closer to 0% than it is to 13. And then let's talk through a very, very quick case study of where the problem comes from. So everyone's going to recognize this one. So meet Jane. Jane wants to buy a HD TV. So Jane goes and buys a HD TV. Hooray, brings it home, installs it, is watching TV. Everything is great. What happens next? She is bombarded with ads saying, hey, do you want to buy a HD TV? And she's like, well, no thanks. So I will bin that. I'll ignore it. That's fine. And then again, she goes onto a website, or she visits, even if she visits the website of the company that she bought the HD TV from, she gets offered a HD TV. And the problem here is that you're running the risk of, well, obviously you're not going to get a sale because there's very few people are going to buy 2 HD TVs 1 week after the other. But secondly, you're likely to annoy your customer and frustrate them and potentially actually get them to start not feeling positively about your brand and about your company, which is, it's not just that you're missing out on a sale, It's that you're actually not building that long-term value with that customer. And yet, you could be offering Jane a fantastic offer to buy subwoofers, buy really expensive speaker system to go with that beautiful HD TV. That's much more like it. And that's the type of thing that we're looking to be able to do, and the type of thing that we're seeing with our customers. Another real example that we had with a UK financial organization, where they actually got a panel of their customers in, and they asked them about what is your experience in dealing with us, and how you experience us on the website. And they had a 13-year-old who had just opened up her first account with this bank, and she said, "Can you stop showing me mortgage ads?" So think of it. There's a company that has first-party data about their customers, and it still manages to show mortgage ads to a 13-year-old customer. And that's, again, a waste. It amused the 13-year-old, but that's still happening when she's 16 or 17. Maybe she'd be less amused. So think, again, going back to the Jane example, think if you were able to use the information that you have in your data sets around, is Jane a customer of your store credit card? Does she have a return policy with you? It's very, very important to understand from a customer experience point of view if there has been problems. Has there been customer service issues that you've resolved either well or not well? That type of personalization in that conversation makes a huge difference in delivering an excellent customer experience and really, really building loyalty with your customers. And this I do agree with. In fact, I think these numbers are actually a little low. Most people reward brands that give them a very consistent experience across all of the touch points. They actually want the brands they like and they trust to recognize them and to give them, to delight and give them a fantastic customer experience. But of course, most people don't actually think that that's the case. And I think that number is high. But this came out of a Google and a Greenberg survey. So it's if you get it wrong, it can be creepy and weird and annoying. But if you get it right, people can really reward you that you're using the information that you have about them to give them a really excellent customer experience. So one of the things cloud can do, obviously with the power and scale that is now being delivered by cloud platforms, is being able to pull all of your data into one place, so you can start building that 360-degree view. But you don't have to start there. You can. We actually have seen really outstanding ROI from people who begin to use the power of cloud platforms on one data set or two data sets. But as you add data sets and as you get that better view of your customers, that's when you really, really start to unlock the value. So, and really what we're looking for is that nirvana of customizing each interaction. So it's much more of a conversation with your customer than just a blast out of messaging that you want to provide to them. So this is what we came to as a way to discuss, with those 100+ conversations, we were looking for a framework that made sense to everybody we were talking to. And if you looked at the show of hands earlier on, you'll see that there's a broad array of different talent in this room, whether they're working in agencies, or they're working directly in a brand, or they're working on a tech team, or they're working in an analytical team. And really, it requires all of those different parties to work really, really closely together, almost all the time with partners of ours as well, in order to be able to solve for this and really unlock the value here. And we try and add value across each of these different points. So collecting all of your data together into one place, transforming it, that's cleaning it, joining it, doing identity resolution, like analyzing it with very, very powerful tools like Google Cloud BigQuery, visualizing it with a visualization engine of your choice, and then activating it back into the marketing technology stack that you're using. And everybody in the room is going to have a different marketing technology stack. The point is to have if you can have that 360-degree view of the individual customer, then you can activate that back into the stack in a way that really unlocks that value and allows you to get the most of the technology investments that you have made. Just pause here and say that going back to that hypothesis about does Google technology actually bring advantages to solving marketing use cases and marketing technology build? I think that is the case. I think that Björn will join us in a while and talk us through some of the use case and examples that we've seen already of people that are doing this. But we wanted to underline some of the themes that you will have heard in the keynotes today and in other sessions today in terms of we are looking to build upon our strengths as an open and secure platform, really based around unlocking the value within your own first-party data, your own knowledge of your own customers, but also helping you to link that with other data sets, whether that be from our colleagues in Google Ads or from Salesforce and Marketo, who are two excellent partners of ours, helping you through the full data journey. And then really, once you have those data sets together, the strength and the amount of resources that we're looking at in the area of AI and machine learning, that's where we see some of the really great innovation coming in terms of how you can do predictive analytics and really try and understand, going back to Jane's example, you can understand and predict what Jane may want in a way that is going to delight her and make her more likely to both remain a customer and buy more from you. So what does this mean for your business? Before I hand over to Björn, just some of the themes that we talk about are making things faster, getting faster to insight, getting better insights, making things easier for you to pull your data together and to do that analytics. But one of the most interesting themes that we're actually exploring is how do we actually enable you to unlock the creativity that is within all of your teams, especially as you're working so multifunctionally to solve some of these problems. And one of the most interesting pieces of feedback I got from a CMO during those travels was he said, no, it's not about fast and it's not about powerful. It's about transforming the way people are thinking about solving analytical problems. And he gave the example of, and some of you hopefully will recognize this, he said they used to do brainstorms by everybody would write down their idea and write it on a post-it. They'd stick it up on a big wall, and then they'd vote for the 3 best ideas. And then those ideas would be taken down, and then they would go off to, I always think of Dilbert, they would go down into the basement where the analyst lived and give them the 3 post-its and say, please tell us what the answers are to these. And then a day or 2 later, they would come back and say, here is the answer. Of course, the brainstorm is over. The people are no longer in the room. He said, with the power of tools like BigQuery, they've brought the analysts and the business people together into the same brainstorm, and they're looking to get those queries answered in real time. And he said, the interesting thing is the changes in behavior. So he said to me there's 2 things that he saw happening. One was people stopped self-censoring. When you can only have 3 queries that go to the analysts, it's the obviously clever ones that go down, but they're not always the most valuable ideas. So he said people stopped censoring. They're like, we can actually ask stupid questions, and sometimes those stupid questions aren't so stupid. The second thing was that because they got the answers while they were still in the brainstorming session, it was the second stage creativity of people did come up with stupid questions, but it was the follow-on question to the stupid question that was often really insightful. The particular example he taught, because I asked him, I said, give me an example of how this actually happened, and he said, somebody said, does it matter the time of day that we send an email? So if somebody's going to take a weekend trip and they suddenly fall out of the purchase funnel and we don't understand why, does a reminder email to say, hey, maybe you do want to take that trip to New York, does it matter what time of the day you send it? And they had to go through a number of different queries to actually find out that it does actually make a big difference. And they had something like a 6 or 7% increase in conversion just by getting that level of insight, which I thought was pretty fascinating. But I'm going to invite Björn to come up now and talk more about some specific examples of what we've seen from brands and how this may help your business and how we'd like to continue the conversation with you in the future. Thank you.
Cheers, David. Thank you, clicker. Let me know if you want to do Q&A as well at the end. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great time at Next this year. This is my second, and I know that I'm the only person standing between all of you guys and an enjoyable night in the city. So we'll try and get through this reasonably quickly. I work on the go-to-market strategy for marketing analytics on Google Cloud Platform. And as Damien said, we're all super, super excited about the opportunity. Our team is in the field with customers, partners, and sellers every single day of the week, and it's amazing to see the progress. and the huge potential that we see and that our customers and partners tell us about for being able to bring together customer data and really apply that to the way in which your business thinks about customer centricity. So I want to talk you through three things. Ways in which customers are driving results today, a little look into what we think the opportunity looks like in the future, and how you can engage with our team both this week and on an ongoing basis. So to start with, when we kind of think about the business opportunity here, we really think about cloud enabling three main things. And I'll go into each one of those. The first is the ability to measure better across channels. Again, when you speak to marketing departments, CMOs, this is a really, really critical thing that they are thinking about and trying to figure out how to solve. Companies are simply not using all of the insight that they have about their customers to better inform the way in which they perform their kind of marketing activities. So by merging, for example, by merging online and offline data, they can get a true picture of what the ROI is for a customer. Take, for example, a client or a customer that actually converts on your site. If you're able to bring together all of the historical sales purchase information you have about that user, you move away from a simple cost per acquisition model to something that incorporates lifetime value. TeamSnap is a sports management company which helps coaches, players, and clubs schedule sports activities. And it uses Google Cloud Platform to analyze all of the data that comes in through their ads buying tools. So things like the Google Ads platform, the Google Marketing platform, and from Google Analytics. And actually, they also integrate Salesforce into that as well. So if you guys have not had a chance to, do go down to the Salesforce booth and also to our analytics booth, our marketing analytics booth as well, and talk about what that integration looks like. But by implementing all of that, by running queries on Google Cloud Platform, by looking at all of the data that's there, TeamSnap are able to reallocate the way in which they're spending their media dollars on a daily basis to generate statistics like 200% increase in ROI just by simply moving around money that they may have been spending on areas that weren't delivering those sort of stats. Over the course of a year, they think that this setup is going to help them reallocate over 10 million in ad spend per year. And an integration that they have between BigQuery and Tableau allows them to also get very, very granular about the way in which they look at how consumers are going through their app and optimizing those paths to purchase so that their app is as efficient as possible for converting users coming through as well. And all of that takes a lot of data and analytics. We make it very, very easy with the integrations that we have from some of our technologies and some of our partners' technologies into BigQuery and into Google Cloud overall, and it helps customers like TeamSnap deliver amazing results that have bottom-line impact for them. Secondly, as you will have heard, through the course of this week already, or through the course of the day already today in other breakouts, Google Cloud and some of the technologies and some of the features that we have there allow you to forecast business results more accurately. Cloud gives you the ability to analyze your data to predict the value of any customer interaction. For instance, a retailer can forecast the impact of promoting a new offer on its website, or maybe what would happen if it doubled its spend in video. Spotify, a popular music streaming service, wanted to know what the departure of a major artist would do to its traffic, to consumer behavior on its site. And with Google Cloud Platform, Spotify was able to analyze petabytes of data to determine the impact to its business and steps that it can take to negate an artist potentially leaving its platform. And thirdly, this is what I think everything is ultimately leading to: the ability to identify and engage the right customers. You can really personalize your campaigns and customer experience using all of these tools. Zulily uses Google Cloud Platform. So Zulily is a retailer that specializes in flash sales, basically. They have, millions of customers come to their website every single day, and they use cloud to consolidate data from all of its channels and assess what people are interested in, so that when they land on the page, when they log in using their email address, they're served up content that is super, super personalized to them. They're doing this with over 5.3 million customers on a daily basis. So the scale at which they're operating this is phenomenal, and it's very easy to do on GCP. So we want to help you kind of increase the relevance of your customer-facing activities. That's kind of what the talk today is about. And looking forward, we see additional innovation for you in two key areas. Firstly, by giving you access to more data sets for better insights. I've already mentioned it before, but the Salesforce integration allows marketers and analytics teams to connect Google Analytics to Salesforce sales and marketing clouds. The solution's just coming out of beta now, and we've been very, very happy with the way in which customers have started to use this. I'm very excited about how we see customers using it going forward. We also have over 100 public and commercial data sets available today on Google Cloud Platform that you can utilize to join up to other data sets within your company. And we are going to have more and more of these coming out all of the time. The second area is around ML. And our engineers are creating advanced ML models which you can apply to your data. Things like AutoML that you heard about this morning. This way, you can easily predict things like the lifetime value of a new customer or the impact of external events, like an unexpected heat wave, on your business. Our goal is to put this kind of technology into your hand and make it very, very easy to implement on top of the data sets that you already have sitting on GCP. A couple of good examples here that are pretty cool. So the first was for a media agency called IPG Media Brands in the Netherlands. And they used the Vision API to analyze thousands and thousands of ads on behalf of their customers, because they do all of the ad buying for these clients. The Vision API gives them incredible insight into what different levers they can pull from a creative perspective in order to be able to drive better performance. So very simple insights that they were able to get very easily. Firstly, it was around kind of what the ad looked like. So horizontal versus vertical, much better. And then all of the color compositions within the ad as well. So darker colors driving better ads effectiveness than lighter colors. Seems really simple stuff, but this is all things that help drive incremental benefits, better quality traffic to sites for advertisers, and better conversion rates thereafter. They're now taking that forward and looking at how they can implement the same kind of ML models to video creative, and to be able to understand what video creatives drive better performance both online and offline. Secondly, a piece of work that I was actually doing with a very large consumer products company while I was still in the UK. Their food division used to go onto Instagram once a month and manually pull down the top 100 photos that had the hashtag mouthwatering. And they would have an intern go through those photos and manually classify what he or she felt was making that photo a mouth-watering photo. And they would repeat that, on an ad hoc basis, and they would get some interesting insights from it. Some months they would skip, and so on and so forth. One of the first things they tested with us was again, the Vision API. And within their first sprint, they were able to do 15,000 images with the tag mouth-watering on it. And taking all of that data and all of the points that come with that, sticking it into a database, and actually being able to ask much better and consistent questions about what was happening there, and over time building a library through which they could see trends, through which they could make decisions around how they would position their products, what type of slogans they may want to use, what type of colors they may want to use in promotional activities, and so on and so forth. So the impact of kind of doing this sort of stuff spreads way beyond kind of just digital advertising, and it can actually go into as far as customer service and product innovation. So bringing together rich data sets and cutting-edge ML can help you create campaigns that really stand out. So, we think that this data can really help reshape how you do advertising and how you engage your audiences better. In fact, we use this approach for a recent campaign that Google, as an advertiser, ran with the NCAA. And the goal for the campaign was to make ads that were actually part of the entertainment and live and scalable as well. So I'm just going to show you a quick video now.
March Madness, the Final Four, the NCAA's annual college basketball tournament. In the United States, few sporting events elicit more passion in fans. We wanted to harness that excitement and create the ultimate product demo to show businesses how Google Cloud Artificial Intelligence could turn data into knowledge and give fans real-time predictions they couldn't get anywhere else. We partnered with the NCAA and moved decades of game data to Google Cloud. Next, we produced hundreds of pre-made assets to cover any game situation Google Cloud might predict, like the number of rebounds, total three-pointers, and combined assists, building a toolkit capable of creating nearly 100,000 unique spots. Then we headed to the Final Four. We set up a war room outside the arena where we gathered the first half stats using our artificial intelligence and machine learning to make a prediction based on those stats. We fed the prediction into custom-built Google Cloud-powered software that could assemble, edit, render, and traffic a television spot directly to the network in less than 10 minutes. This custom spot ran moments later at the beginning of the second half and featured the current score, the real-time prediction, and the teams, making it hyper-relevant to the moment. And Google Cloud nailed it, delivering 6 insanely accurate game predictions that were seen by over 43 million viewers. The campaign drove a 91% lift in product interest, a 42% increase in brand search volume, 30% more new site visits, with a 19% increase in time spent. In the end, businesses everywhere learned what is possible with data and Google Cloud.
That was pretty cool. So I've only moved to the US 6 months ago. I haven't fully chosen my sport yet. I'm still struggling to get into something. I'm definitely going basketball on the back of that. So, you know, those commercials were contextually relevant, and they were distributed to TV stations following some data that they could see happening in the campaign or happening in the game in real time. As you saw in the video, and just to reiterate, the campaign delivered a 42% lift in search query volume. Right, so we tracked it back to that, as well as a 13% lift in unaided brand awareness about March Madness. In fact, we were recognized for this campaign at Cannes, which is the annual kind of festival of creativity and actually more so data, increasingly data these days as well, and with a Gold Lion Award for creative data and a Silver Lion Award for innovation. But this technique isn't just relevant for Google. You know, using cloud, you can be on the journey towards hyper-personalization no matter how large or small of a company you are. Okay. And again, something that if you haven't heard this week, is an increasing theme, is a theme that you will hear increasingly through the course of the week. You know, partners are super, super important to Google Cloud Platform. They can really help you accelerate your journey towards, you know, becoming more of a customer-centric organization and running proof of concepts that help you understand and get statistics like those we've just seen before with some of those examples. There is an incredibly vibrant ecosystem of technology and service partners out there that we're working with on a daily basis that are helping customers achieve statistics like you've just seen there before. And actually, the NCAA campaign that we actually ran it with Deloitte was our partner in actually helping us deploy that campaign as well. So partners add a ton of value, no matter how technology or data savvy you are today. So I'm hoping that after today's talk, you'll take some time to kind of imagine how bringing all of this customer data together can really help impact your business, no matter where you sit in that business. Becoming more customer-centric is critical to ensuring that your business stays relevant and has a competitive advantage going forward, and nobody is doing it really, really well today. We think that there are three main areas in which you can help increase customer centricity, or bringing data together can help increase customer centricity. That's around measuring better across channels, that's around forecasting business results, and it's around identifying and engaging the right customers. And we have some incredible products and solutions that help you to deliver against those three goals. There's some really, really lovely sessions this week related to this topic. I know that some folks will want to get much, much deeper into some of the technical aspects to it, so do pop along tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Our customer engineers will be going through some of the specifics of what we've just mentioned there. There's a phenomenal session, or a fantastic session, that's going to be run again tomorrow at 11 a.m. with actual marketers that we've worked with, who will be talking about their experience in doing this kind of thing and how that's setting them up to do a real digital transformation across their organization. And for those folks in the room that are actually interested in building marketing technology themselves, there is a heavily technical session on Thursday morning at 9. Our team are available all of this week at the Marketing Analytics booth. And we are super interested to hear from you guys and really want to help you, but also learn from you as well, so that we can help build this together. So if you have any feedback for us, please reach out to our team on the email alias below.